Welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us here on Midwest Access. It's time for another Tooth Talk with Dr. Katie Post. She is the owner of Northwest Dental Group here in Rochester, and Byron as well.
Yeah,
How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you.
It's good to see you again.
Yeah, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Today we are talking about emergencies. We just got done talking
Yeah.
about garage door emergencies. Now we're talking about teeth emergencies.
Exactly. Just like them. And call us in the morning. We'll get you in that day.
Really?
Yeah.
So if I chip my tooth, I can call you and stop by?
We're going to try to, yeah.
Okay.
We're going to do our very best.
We have a lot of questions to get to here, so let's pop up our first question. I believe it is, what should I do if I have a toothache or if my tooth is chipped, as I just mentioned? Obviously call you, but what should I do personally?
Yeah, so let's say you're in the middle of Canada and you can't get to anywhere. You can go to Walgreens, Hy-Vee, Walmart, and over by where the denture adhesive is, there's a little tube of stuff, and it's called temporary tooth filling. And you take it, keep it in your suitcase. You travel over to Iceland, all these other fancy places. You can take it in your suitcase. If your tooth breaks, you make a little pea-sized ball. It feels like gum. You squish it on your tooth and it gets hard, and it can at least smooth off those rough edges. Okay. And it can fill in where that part of that tooth is missing to get you back home.
What if I can't get that right away?
Yeah.
You just suck it up?
Well, no, if it's really sharp, you can take an emery file and you can file off the sharp spots till you get back. Okay. Either way, once I explain a tooth like an apple, and you can see an apple and somebody cuts a piece out of it, and it's fine right away, but the next day it's all molded and gets soft. Yeah. That's kind of the way your tooth is. Once that breaks off, the inside dentin will just start to kind of mold away and get soft. Okay. So the sooner you can get into the dentist, the better.
Okay, you're going to mention one other thing, are we good?
That's it.
On dealing with that chipped tooth. And when they go to the dentist though, what are the options?
So it depends on the tooth and what's chipped. So sometimes, let's say like it's a little chip on your front tooth, sometimes we can use what's called composite or resin. Okay. And it's a tooth colored material. When I first became a dentist, we spent all this time picking the right color, or you would see somebody and you could tell they had had a filling and it looked weird. But the new materials now are made out of porcelain dust, kind of. Okay. And they will change with the color of your teeth. And so they match, like the same one that will match your tooth will match my tooth because it will change to reflect the color of your teeth. Okay. So it makes matching the colors so much easier. So we can just glue that onto the tooth and shape it just like your tooth. Okay. But if a large portion of the tooth is gone, then we need to do what's called a crown. And a crown is like a little cap that fits over your tooth. We take a millimeter all the way around the tooth and off the top. And the cap is made of all porcelain, and it'll just slip right on. It's permanently on there, and it'll look just like your tooth did before.
Is that like a veneer or no?
It's very similar to a veneer. It's a veneer is half of a crown. Okay. A veneer is like the thickness of a contact lens. Sure. And like your eyeball and the contact lens sits on there. Okay. A veneer just sits on the front of your tooth.
That makes sense. Yeah. That's a very good way to explain it.
Thank you.
Well, what's the best way to deal with noticeable swelling that you might have?
That's a tricky one. So the first thing that I would recommend people do is warm salt water rinses. Take a coffee cup or 1 cup warm water, teaspoon of salt, swish that around. That's like a massage, and that'll help pull out any kind of infection and help kind of clean up there. An ice pack can really help. Alternating Advil and Tylenol every 3 to 4 hours can help. Okay. Because that can help with the pain and the swelling.
Okay. And if I have an emergency, what are some of the at-home things I can do before I maybe contact a professional?
Right. So again, that little temporary tooth filling that we talked about, using the emery file to kind of smooth it off if you have a sharp or rough edge, alternating the Advil and Tylenol for that swelling, for that pain, ice for that. If there is an area for that tooth to drain, to allow that to drain, that can help make it feel a lot better. But you don't want to take something and stick it up there and poke it. Some people will tell me that because you're introducing bacteria. Okay. I've seen people have nasty infections from doing that. And it can really spread to the point that you have to put drains in to get the infection out. It can get really serious. I think initially people will say that you're really fearful of the dentist and you have a bad toothache. A lot of people will go to their MD and get an antibiotic and they feel great. Yeah. They're like, this is great. I don't have to go to the dentist. And then 6 weeks later, or it's always Christmas Eve, right? all of a sudden that comes back with a vengeance, and it's just really painful.
Yeah.
So the sooner you can get into the dentist and avoid that, the better off we are.
Okay. Some great advice. Where can people find Northwest Dental Group?
Northwest Dental Group, we have office on Superior Drive across from Costco. We have an office on 37th Street, and office on 14th Street, and an office in Byron. And you can find us at northwestdentalgroup.com or at 507-289-3921.
All right, perfect. We have all the details on our website as well. Dr. Katie Post, thanks for being here today.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
Have a wonderful day.
Hey, you as well. Nick, it's time for weather.